He packed his bag without looking at her.
You have nothing,
he said coldly.
I'm tired of managing.
She didn't cry. She just stood there, heartbreaking, eyes wide. Then he walked out with the same wallet they once built together. Empty now, empty of money, empty of love. How it all started. Chika and Emeka met when life was still heavy. She had just finished sewing school. He had just buried his father. There was no money, but there was hope. They became friends at church. Emeka always helped carry benches after service. Chika liked that he was quiet and kind. He liked that she was hard-working and always smiling. Soon, friendship became love. When they got married, their wedding was small. No DJ, no hall, just prayers, cooked rice, and people who clapped with real hearts. They moved into a tiny room behind a brown building in the township. The room leaked when it rained. They shared a pit toilet with 4 other tenants. Mosquitoes sang at night, but they held each other and made small jokes to stay strong. Chika sold second-hand clothes in the market. Emeka pushed wheelbarrows at the park. They ate plain food. Sometimes they had only gari. Sometimes they boiled yam without oil. But every night they sat on the floor, counted coins, and whispered dreams. One day, we'll have our own shop, Chika would say. And maybe a bigger bed, Emeka would reply, smiling. But even as he smiled, his eyes had started drifting. Not at her, but at the flashy cars and fine things passing them by. Emeka began working closely with the rich traders at the bus park. He ran errands for them, polished their shoes, carried their goods. He watched them eat suya at lunchtime while he waited with a dry throat. He noticed their gold watches, their big phones, their loud laughter. Then, one day, he met Madame Stella. She was different. A woman in her early 40s, with smooth skin, red lipstick, and a sharp tongue. She wore wrapper like a queen and always called Emeka, my dear. At first, she gave him small tips. Buy yourself something cold, she'd say, handing him a clean N1000 note. Then she asked, why are you wasting your strength pushing trucks? Come work for me in my shop. You deserve more than dust and sweat. Chika was so happy when he got the offer. She danced, she knelt, she made yam porridge with fish, the first time they had eaten fish in 2 months. God has answered, she cried. They even sowed a seed in church. But soon, Emeka started coming home late. Then he started coming home full. Then he started coming home with perfume that Chika never wore. The sweetness of temptation was crawling into his heart and pushing Chika out. The change came slowly, but it stayed. Emeka stopped asking how her day went, stopped saying thank you when she served his food, stopped holding her hand when they walked to evening service. He started ironing his shirts more often, started buying things he never used to care about, wristwatches, leather shoes, fancy lotions. He laughed louder with Madame Stella, but at home he barely spoke. When Chika asked, why don't you eat my food anymore? He replied, I've eaten at work. Must I eat 2 times? One day, he brought home 2 new shirts. Chika smiled and said, oh, you bought something new! You didn't even buy tomatoes for stew! He laughed loudly. Tomatoes? You think I'm still struggling? You better adjust. I'm not the same Emeka. That evening, Chika walked past Madame Stella's shop. She saw them through the glass, Madame Stella tossing her hair, Emeka laughing, leaning close, his hand brushing hers. Chika stopped, her feet heavy. She wanted to look away, but her heart had already seen too much. "Maybe it's nothing," she whispered, but her spirit replied, "A man who laughs like that is not just being polite." That night was quiet, but the silence was heavy. Emeka came home with a brown duffel bag. He didn't sit. He didn't touch her. He just started folding his clothes, the same shirts Chika had once helped wash with her bare hands. "Where are you going?" she asked softly. He didn't answer. She stepped closer, her voice small.
Emeka, talk to me.
He turned sharply.
I'm leaving. I can't do this anymore. You have nothing to offer. I'm tired of managing. I need more. I want a better life.
Chika stood still, her eyes wide but dry. No tears came, just cold stillness. Her eyes drifted to their corner, where their old box sat, half empty, where their plastic plates were stacked, where they once sat to count coins by candlelight. She remembered the yam porridge, the seed they sowed, the dreams they folded together and kept in that room. She didn't beg. She didn't kneel. She just watched him walk out with his bag and the broken wallet they once filled with hope, love, and small coins. Now, that wallet was full of pride, but empty of love. Madame Stella welcomed Emeka into her home like a queen claiming a prize. She gave him a room in her duplex, fresh towels, and a wardrobe of new clothes. She gave him allowance, not salary, just small bundles of cash he didn't ask for. She let him sit beside her when her driver took her to events. She even introduced him to her friends, but never as her partner. "This is Emeka. He helps me around," she would say, her smile wide but empty. At first, Emeka didn't mind. He was eating better, dressing better, sleeping on a bed that didn't squeak. But slowly, things started to feel strange. Madame Stella no longer waited for him to eat. She traveled often, to Abuja, Port Harcourt, even Dubai, and when she returned, she came back with new perfumes and stories she wouldn't tell. One day, Emeka saw a flashy man in Agbada leaving the house early in the morning. Another evening, he found a hotel receipt on the kitchen counter, not in her name, but tucked beside her purse. His chest tightened. He wanted to ask, but he remembered he was not her husband, not even her boyfriend. He was just Emeka, the helper, the one who gave up a wife for a woman who didn't even see him. Emeka began to shrink inside the big house. He didn't laugh anymore. He didn't eat with joy. He watched the rich life from behind glass, like a hungry boy outside a bakery. One evening, Madame Stella returned from a business trip. She tossed a small bag at him. "Take this. Use it for transport or something." No smile. No warmth. That night, Emeka sat alone in the guest room. He opened the wallet he once shared with Chika, now worn out at the edges. Inside was a small photo. Him and Chika sitting under the mango tree, her head on his shoulder. Both of them barefoot. Both of them smiling like they had everything in the world. His throat tightened. He remembered the nights she sat on the floor to cook for him, the day she sold her only gold bangle to buy him malaria drugs, the way she prayed over him in her sleep. Madame Stella gave him money, but Chika gave him love. And now, he had neither. One hot afternoon, Emeka left Madame Stella's house quietly. No goodbye, no plan. Just his worn-out bag and broken heart. He returned to the township. Dust hit his face like truth. He walked through the same streets he once walked with Chika, holding hands, dreaming aloud. He found her at her stall, still selling second-hand clothes. But she looked different, stronger, peaceful. Her wrapper was clean, her cornrows neat. She smiled at a customer, then laughed with a nearby woman. Emeka stood across the road, watching, waiting for her to look up. She didn't. He wanted to cross, to say, "I'm sorry," to beg. But something in his chest said, "Don't." She didn't need him anymore. She had rebuilt what he broke, alone. Emeka walked away slowly. The road felt longer now, the sun hotter, his bag heavier. He passed by the mango tree where they once sat and named their unborn children. It was still there, but the laughter was gone. He had chased a big life and lost the small things that truly mattered. Love is not a wallet. It's not money or shoes or perfume. Love is someone who prays for you in the dark, who counts coins with you when the days are long, who stays when the world says leave. And Emeka had thrown that away for things that didn't last. That night, he slept in a friend's corridor, and for the first time in years, he cried. Moral of the story: not all that glitters is gold. Sometimes, true love wears simple wrappers and sells old clothes, but its heart is rich forever. If this story moved you, please subscribe for more powerful African tales full of truth, heartbreak, and healing. More stories are coming soon. Stay close.